The Independent Qualification Commission has decided upon the confirmation of duty for the prosecutor of serious crimes prosecution, Donika Prela. The measles situation was discussed in the Health Commission between the opposition and the representatives of the public health institution, Petric Vasily, demanding the additional funds for vaccines. The majority calls the decision of the Assembly of Pedagogues illegal, while the opposition condemns the government's pressure on university pedagogues. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, the 5th of February 2019. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Oliver, and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country, translated into English. Today, the Independent Qualification Commission has given their confirmation. Donika Prela will now be able to assume her duties as the prosecutor of the serious crimes prosecution after submitting herself to an investigation based on 3 criteria of assessment: that of property, image control, and professional skill set. The hearing on the decision was postponed for 8 days due to public debate and questions raised about the wealth of Donika Prela and her husband. The chair of the hearing, Roland Elia, stating, "Following a public denunciation sent through the media for this reevaluation, the trial panel approved the postponement of the hearing for Mrs. Prela on January 28, 2019, to be resumed on February 5, 2019, considering the verification of the denunciation and whether or not there were elements or concrete evidence for the reopening of an investigation." Verifications were carried out last week by the trial panels and international observers. Through the verification process, it has concluded that no serious indications could lead to the reopening of investigations. On February 4th, the trial panel convened to make a decision for the reevaluation of Donika Prela. Roland Elia stating, "After examining all the documentation submitted by the assessment institutions, the trial panel conducted a thorough administrative investigation on the 3 evaluation criteria. They heard the reevaluation at the January 2019 session, appreciated all the documentation and evidence submitted for the reevaluation, and decided upon the confirmation of duty for the reevaluation of subject Donika Prela." Meanwhile, the Democratic Party has filed charges against Prela. According to Blue headquarters, in addition to the unknown income of her husband, Donika Prela appears to be, in the eyes of the DP, an abettor of the Abdullah gang. As unlikely as it may seem, the majority and opposition in Parliament have reached a compromise, although not for the same purpose. Both Socialists and Democrats joining together to vote on the approval of President Mehta's decree to review the law on cadastre. According to opposition MPs, the law has major constitutional violations, and its purpose is to embed chaos in the properties sought out by oligarchs who want to invest in strategic areas. Likewise, the majority acted the same way on the law regarding the National Theatre, when after accepting Mehta's decree, the majority made the relevant changes by sending it to a parliamentary vote, avoiding the opposition's parliamentary procedures. As for the rapporteur Bashkin Fino, he claimed that the way the opposition opposes this law is political misuse, including the President of the Republic himself. After discussions were held, MPs from the Socialist Party adopted the sub-article amendments and voted in the new law by sending it to a vote in Parliament. Once the law becomes approved, the cadastre law will go back to the President for its decree. The number of cases of measles in Europe has reached levels not seen in almost a decade, while here in the Republic there are concerns over an outbreak. 1,367 people affected by measles in 2018, while from January to today, the public health institution reporting that there are 51 individuals affected by the virus, mainly children under 2 years of age. 2018 saw 3 people succumb to the highly contagious and infectious disease, while 1 victim was recorded in January of this year. This measles situation has also brought about discussions in the Health Commission. Silva Bino, the chief of the Department of Infectious Diseases, saying that the city of Tirana has significantly reduced the coverage of vaccines. Meanwhile, regarding the city's vaccination funds, Petric Vasily says, "I have not yet seen any fund transfers nor fund mobilization efforts to purchase extra quantities of vaccines. During times of epidemics, it is imperative to purchase vaccines. First, what was the amount of funds mobilized to cope with this epidemic? Secondly, there is no public statement on declaring the situation an epidemic. While many have voiced their concerns of the public health scare, the public health institution announcing today that there are nearly 40,000 mothers and 10,000 children in need of vaccinations. Both the left and the right sides of Albania's political spectrum have agreed that the student protest was a lesson for politics, but it is a totally different story when considering their stances on the current protest of university lecturers. The Socialist Party considering the hunger strike among professors to be an illegal act as it was done in the absence of quorum. Milva Ekonomi says the assembly has had less than half of full-time academic staff working. Their decision is unfair. While Mirella Kumbaro says their strike has to do with their employer. It is not in connection with the commission or with the government. The opposition, on the other hand, repeats the demand to abolish the law on higher education and asks the government not to put pressure on pedagogues. Albana Vokshi stated, sub-legal acts, even today after 2 years, have not yet been revealed and someone has to be held accountable because it has caused students and pedagogues a lot of problems. Valtina Duka says Albania's prime minister must give up from shaming pedagogues. On Wednesday afternoon, the Media Commission will hold a hearing with Interior Minister Sander Leshaj about the violence exercised against students at faculty buildings. The commission will also listen to the demands of lecturers at a special hearing. Now on to the decision by the Independent Qualification Commission. Donika Prela has been confirmed to duty as the new prosecutor of the serious crimes prosecution. The Democratic Party reacted today by once again declaring the vetting process an instrument in the hands of Edi Rama. During a media statement, DP MP Enkeled Ali Bey stated that justice reform has failed and serves only to protect Edi Rama from real justice, humiliating even the international monitoring operation. Ali Bey stating, "Who would have known that vetting authorities would exclude the prosecutors and judges in the justice system? Today, I am convinced that this sort of vetting works as an instrument in the hands of Edi Rama." Ali Bey continued by saying that the Independent Qualification Commission did not investigate any of the ONM findings for Prela, stating, "International observers found that in a short time, Donika Prela had sold her property 4 times higher than I bought," noting that her declared income did not justify the cheap purchases of some apartments. International observers found that Prela's husband hid their income, worked under the table without paying taxes for many years, deceived the Albanian nation, and there is a strong suspicion of money laundering through corruption. The vetting commissioner, unlike other cases which are identical to Donika Prela's, did not investigate these facts, but instead held the justice system as a servile prosecutor of Edi Rama. It has served the criminal acts by Emiliano Shulazi in relation to the band of Abdullahi and led to the destruction of Samir Tahiri's file. The decision for Donika Prela was clearly taken in a conflict of interest and in full violation of the law because from verifying the security cameras of the serious crimes prosecution, the vetting commission would have found that Donika Prela regularly met with a member of its panel, Valbona Sanjaktari, during November and December. The Democratic Party denounces the fact that with Prela's signature as the head of Durrës's prosecution, the Abdullahi gang leader, Astri Abdulli, gets released from prison even though an illegal weapon was found in his vehicle in January of last year. According to Ali Bey, the criminal acts that Donika Prela has committed are found in file 339, proving that she abetted the criminal Abdullahi gang of buying votes for Edi Rama in the Durrës district during the election. Some good news and some bad news this evening. It's flu season. And the good news? The situation is far from an emergency. So far, 1 child and 7 adults have been reported to be affected by the AH1N1 virus in Vlorë, although the chief of epidemiology, Agron Bashlari, says those affected do not have life-threatening symptoms. 8 cases of the AH1N1 virus have been identified in infected patients, and although many know it as the swine flu, no need to panic. Doctors consider it a common seasonal virus that has been spreading since the beginning of January. The chief of epidemiology says that those people who succumbed to the virus were found among 25 individuals with severe cases and were treated on life support. Fortunately, all cases have been treated successfully, and in Vlorë, there have been no victims from the flu, as it is not life-threatening. Nevertheless, 3 people have died at the Sanatorium of Tirana due to the AH1N1 virus, accompanied by other health-related complications. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of ORA News, thank you and have a good night.